Okay, so you just got your receiver installed, and the next step is to get the clock set. Now, within this menu, you'll notice that there are a few different settings, and we want to make sure that you know what each and every one of those settings do. Now maybe at this point, you're sitting in your vehicle, your dash is half assembled, and setting the clock is the final piece to that puzzle. Or, like we said, the time just changed, and you want to make sure that you're not late to your next event, so we need to get your clock updated. Now, when we go into these clock menus, there are a few different settings that we could see. Ultimately, there are 4 different ways that your KENWOOD receiver can get the time. The first one is through a setting called Nav Sync. Now this is a feature you'll see on our receivers with built-in Garmin navigation. Nav Sync allows for the clock to get time and date from satellites, very similar to how GPS sync works. Now, although the receiver does not have built-in Garmin navigation, it does still have an external GPS antenna. This antenna helps to provide better positioning when utilizing mapping apps inside of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. As an added bonus, it also helps the receiver to get time and date information from those same GPS satellites. GPS sync is actually featured in our DMX1037S. So in today's video, you'll see me disabling that and enabling another mode. Also though, before we go to the manual mode, there's another setting called RDS sync. So with RDS sync, you may see this as RDS in some receivers, RDS sync in others, or in our audio receivers, for example, you'll see it as time sync. RDS sync means that your receiver has the ability to get time and date information from local radio stations. One thing to keep in mind about this, though, is not every radio station transmits the proper information. So let's say, for example, you know the time is 2 p.m. However, your receiver keeps going to 2:38 p.m. even though that's a 38-minute difference and you know that you didn't make that change. That's where we know we would need to disable the RDS sync feature if our local radio stations don't have this information properly displayed. Now the fourth setting is the one that I made mention of on the GPS sync option, and that's the manual mode, which we're going to enable on our DMX1037S. So let's take a look and see how that works. Okay, so on the receiver's home screen, you'll notice on the left-hand side, we have some clock and date information displayed there. Also, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll notice it says 4:10 a.m. Although I do wake up early in the morning, I assure you I am not making this video at 4 o'clock. So, we need to go in and make some changes to get this information displayed accurately. To do that, we're going to select this gear icon in the bottom left corner, and then we're going to select System here. Now, within this menu, we're going to scroll down. Once we're here, you'll see we have 3 different options to select. The first one is Time Format, which allows us to select between 12 and 24-hour time displays. We have our clock settings and our time zone. Now in this case, you'll notice that it's set to GPS sync and we have our time zone, which we would select here. Now, personally, I'm located in Central Time, so I'm going to go down and select Central, but I also want to put this radio in manual mode. So I'll go into Clock, and then I'll select Manual. Now once I've gone in and select Manual, you'll notice we now have an option here at the bottom that says Clock Adjust. So we'll tap this. Here we can go in and change the year, month, date, and the hour. So the current year is 2021. Today is April the 20th. So we can simply toggle up until we get to that 20 mark here. And then on the right-hand side, we can now select the time. So at this current moment, it is 10:58 in the morning. So we're going to select 10 there, and then we're also going to select 58, which we can do by simply long pressing and holding this so we don't have to tap it individually all of those times. Now once we get to this point, we're simply going to press Set down here in the bottom right-hand corner, and we can go back to the home screen, and you can see that those times and dates are now properly reflected. So at this point, you can officially say that you're a pro at setting the clock in your KENWOOD receiver. Hopefully, we answered all the questions that you may have had along the way, and we look forward to continuing to answer many more as we continue to post more videos. Thanks for taking the time to join us today, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
KENWOOD.